So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been, it's been a while, I know. So just before I took a little break, I said that I was going to do a kind of chat video on World Beyond because like we have finished that show now in its entirety, and I had a few other video ideas, but I'm going to do the World Beyond video now because I've been kind of watching snippets of the show, watching back on it, and there's so much I think that just slipped by. You know, like that's a whole show. We watched a whole show in its entirety. So yeah, I feel like there's like a whole ton of stuff to talk about that I just didn't get to touch on in reactions. I don't think I did chat videos for any of season 2. I can't remember if I did or not, but I don't think I did. I'm going to try and stay somewhat on track today. I made a little bit of a talking list. So yeah. As always, just reminding you guys that I have a Patreon where I do a whole bunch of reactions. I think I'm doing 2 uploads a day. What shows am I doing? I do reactions for shows like The X-Files, The 100, The Defenders, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think I'm starting Jessica Jones real soon as well. I also started reactions for season 2 of The Witcher, on top of all the regulars like Riverdale, Once Upon a Time, and the movie reactions and stuff weekly. So yeah, the link to that's down below if you guys want to check it out. Oh, fuck, before I start, Happy New Year! This year is kind of bittersweet because yes, it's the year that we're gonna finish The Walking Dead. Just don't think about it. Also, this is the year that we hopefully, fingers fucking crossed, get news on the Rick Grimes movies, and there's a whole bunch of other spin-off shows as well that are in the works for The Walking Dead, so there's that. Okay, so World Beyond was a weird one, right? Because I feel like when the trailer dropped, people kind of made snap assumptions that were kind of right for season 1. Season 1 had its own vibe, it had its own aesthetic, it was real kind of, I mean, I know I've said it like a million times at this stage, but it kind of had like a weird Suicide Squad vibe to it, the original Suicide Squad. Like where it was really like the colour scheme, the colour grading, the way it was shot, the cinematography, it had its own feel. It was completely different to The Walking Dead or Fear or anything that we had from The Walking Dead universe. That was like hit or miss. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I was a little bit in the middle, right? I feel like it was odd for a show of its kind, but at the same time, it really did establish World Beyond as its own thing, its own little unit. That was kind of shed a little bit as we went into season 2, which was a weird choice. But I feel like as the characters grew out of being that kind of young, angsty people that they were in season 1, the show and the tone kind of had to change with the 2, which did lend and helped, I guess, tell the story visually. But a lot of the characters, I feel like they listened to the criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like the writers, the showrunners, whatever. They listened to the criticism that people had with season 1, and I do feel like they tried to improve upon it or at least change some things. Like season 1, you're dealing with a group, you still were in season 2, but like season 1 you really were dealing with teens. These young kids that have been sheltered their whole lives, they didn't know what to expect, they didn't know anything about anything really. And I feel like they played that well, you know, there were times that I wanted to shake them viciously through the screen, but with a younger cast and a younger setting, that's what you're dealing with, and I feel like it did work. I do like the change they took going into season 2. I do like that they really moved some stuff around and it felt easier to watch. It felt more natural. Having everyone come together and then like split up again and have them learn their own little place in the world. It really helped them all come into their own in season 2. Now the 2 main girls, Hope and Iris, I feel like they were, I don't know, they were believable, right? Like, who the fuck was Hope? Which one was which? It's been a while. So Hope was a super angsty kind of like, she was one of these like, no one understands me and I do my own thing, whatever. But her sister and the kind of bond they had together I thought was gorgeous. I thought that was believable. Yeah, it was cringy at times, but like still it was believable that the bond that the 2 of them had. I like where they took her character, and I love where they took Iris's character in season 2 as well. Putting her out on her own, giving her her own story independent of Hope. I thought her and Percy was adorable. Still not over the fact they just killed that motherfucker right off, but you only had 2 seasons of a show, you had to show the impact, you had to further the characters, so like other characters just had to die. I know, but poor Edward Cullen lookalike, he didn't deserve that. Hawk is probably the one that had the biggest transformation to me, because I went from hating her to loving her, to hating her to loving her, to hating her to being kind of about her. I liked it in the end, ultimately, like she got it and she made her stance clear and everybody knew where she stood, which I liked. I again, tragic kind of ending for a character like her, but it fit. Jadis being brought into the season, to me, is what absolutely made the whole thing, tied everything together neatly. It gave it a clear, concise purpose and a path to take the show on. Like, season 1 was like, okay, we have this new show and no one knows what's going on, really. Once Jadis came into it and brought in, maybe it's just because I'm a massive Walking Dead freak, but once she started bringing in the Walking Dead references, like we hear her kind of reference Negan, she took Gabriel's last name, Stokes, to hear her call herself by that, to hear her mention, well, she didn't mention Rick, but she referred to him. I don't know, it made it fun, and it made it more like, yes, now we're in the Walking Dead universe. Because you can have your own little standalone shows, but you do kind of need to ground them a little bit in Walking Dead lore. You need to anchor that bitch down, which Jadis did. I am just happy that Elton made it to the end. He was my favourite character. Yeah, they pulled an Aaron on him, and the poor motherfucker lost his arm, but again, getting to watch him grow and change, especially with the tension between him and Hope, the reveal of it, and then the reeling from it, and then seeing him try to deal with it and try to make peace, which is it just goes to show that he's a much bigger person than I am, because I don't know that I could have responded as well as he did, and eventually comes to the conclusion that he did. I'd have been like, you're dead to me. Come near me again and you will be dead. Silas pissing off. I mean, like, he probably had one of the weirdest stories for the whole show. The amount of, like, setting changes and story changes that he went through. I mean, you know, starting off as this shy little kid, and then we get all the backstory in him. We learn why he is the way he is, why he is where he is. And then watching him go from trying to be a part of the group to being separated from the group to trying to get back with them again, and then to where he eventually ends up. That just kind of gives hope to me that we are going to see him somewhere down the line, that we're going to see him either in The Walking Dead or in the Rick movies, or maybe in one of the, and there's, like, I heard there's an anthology show coming out for The Walking Dead. I remember that being released. Now listen, I know it was a weird fucking year, but I have distinct memories of that being announced. But, like, nobody has talked about it or done anything about it really since then, so I'm like, did I just fucking hallucinate that? Is that a thing that's even happening? But if they do decide to do an anthology show, there's a lot they could do with the World Beyond cast. You could either give them their own episodes, their own little shit, or you could tie it in with other, from Fear maybe, or The Walking Dead, or you could just mix and match, like a Transformer. Do they mix and match? A lot of people complained about the fact that it was only 2 seasons long. There were some people saying that it could have been more, they could have given it more. A lot of people actually said they preferred this season of World Beyond over Fear. I don't know, I feel like it worked. I feel like because season 1 was more misses than hits, that season 2, it was a dramatic improvement, and they did amazingly with season 2, especially with the end. I don't think it was better than Fear. I think it had elements where it was more entertaining than the newest season of Fear. I still prefer Fear the Walking Dead. When they announced the show, it was explained that it is going to be a 2-season limited run, that it's not going to get more, that's it. So I don't really know why people were surprised that it ended with season 2, because it wasn't, when the show was announced, it was announced that it was only going to be the 2 seasons. I think that's what stopped the show from becoming so weighed down and messy, because when you're given, no, you only have this amount of episodes, you only have this amount of space to tell a story, you can't really stray as, that far from the story and fuck it up, which I think is why season 2 works so well, because they knew they were under pressure, they knew they had a story to tell in such a small space of time, and I think that's why it worked. If it had been announced for season 3, I wouldn't have been over the moon about it. I feel like some of the characters were really worked on, and some of the characters do deserve to show up, go to Fear or go to The Walking Dead or go to the anthology. But as a show, like, as a whole, the 2 seasons was enough. Thank you very much. Seeing Felix and Will as well together, just... Felix was a bit of an odd character for me, though. To bring a character in as, like, the guardian of the group or, like, whatever, and then kind of branch off as much. Or Felix started being the guardian of their dad, right? And then change to being their guardian or their, like, protector. That was a really interesting switch. I know there's a whole bunch of characters I am completely forgetting about. Those are my thoughts on, like, the show as a whole. I guess some just kind of micro little thoughts that I didn't really get to say through reactions. The ending absolutely saved it. The very, very, very end, where you get to see the research centre and you get to see someone change and very quickly just run at that door. They were ready for road after they changed. Getting Dr. Banner's little cameo as well was fucking amazing. I do like that we got to see setting somewhere else. So I think it was France, right? It wasn't the people in the scene were French, so I'm guessing it was in the French CDC or a French lab somewhere. it's about time that we got to see somewhere else in the world deal with this, because I know that, like, you know, The Walking Dead, it's very, you're looking at everything through like a microscopic lens, right? Because you're dealing with a small group of people, you're only dealing with them, you're not really dealing with anywhere else in the world. So I guess it makes sense to just keep it focused on them. But the whole rest of the world has been completely omitted from this universe, from like the Dead universe. So I do hope that we get to go elsewhere, especially in, they probably won't do it in the Rick movies if we ever get them, and they probably aren't going to do it in The Walking Dead, given the fact that we only have a few episodes left. But like, if we're going to do an anthology show, I do think it's time to branch out and go other places in the fucking world. See how other communities are dealing with it. See entire, like, countries just wiped the fuck out that couldn't deal with it. You know? I do want to see, and I've been saying this for fucking years, I want to see what's going on in the rest of the world. So seeing that end scene just gave me hope that we might finally get to see that. It seems like we're going to get different walkers as well. I think it was hinted at the fact that they were they mutated, or they were like genetically changed or something? So, I don't know. That end scene, anyway, gave hope for, like, future shows or spin-offs or segments in other shows that I'm excited for. And they need to be giving us stuff like that, because with The Walking Dead coming to an end, there's going to be a huge gap. Like, I know we're getting the Darren Carl spin-off show, we're getting the anthology show, hopefully, and the Rick movies, if they ever decide to join the party. But once, like, the Mother show ends, there's going to be a huge gap. So there's so much they could do. There's a lot of potential. But yeah, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a lovely little, small little, neatly packaged with a pretty little bow show. It had its hits, it had its misses, but I do think it worked. Particularly season 2 saved it. The ending saved it. Jadis saved it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. And if you haven't seen it, I don't really know why you're watching this, and you have been spoiled monumentally, but you should definitely go check it out, because it was great for what it was. So yeah, that is it for this little chat. It feels so good to just be back sitting and chatting. I didn't take a break from recording. I've been doing Patreon all along. So there's so much over there. Like for Halloween week and Christmas week, I uploaded, on top of the 2 reactions a day, I did a movie reaction every day. So like, I have been keeping busy. So that's probably why I haven't gone absolutely batshit insane just yet. I mean, it's been a rough 2 years, so there's still time. But I've been doing that, but it does feel good to just sit and talk as well, you know? Not react, not be doing stuff, just speak. If you guys want to connect with me on other stuff, the link to my Twitter and my Instagram is also down below, that you can say hello or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited for The Walking Dead to come back. I'm glad that we got through World Beyond, and that they ended on such a high note, because it leaves a lot open, you know, and I like the openness. Walking Dead is back, I think, next month. I will be doing a kind of breakdown of what we've seen so far from season 11 and what I hope to see from the rest of season 11. That might be a little bit further, like 2 or 3 weeks away maybe, depending. I don't want to put it up too early, I want to leave it a bit closer. Yeah, but that is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all are keeping happy and safe. I hope you had a lovely holiday period if you celebrated, and if not, I hope December was at least kind to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon.